assist those people who are not able to take the bulk item to the garbage site or dump site in South Bimini.
But Stewart and Monroe have a partner in cleaning Bimini. Suzette Murphy is a single mother of two who collects and recycles beer bottles. And she is making enough money from it to support her family. How many bottles would you find in a day?
Yeah. Well, if I go down the road and come back with the trolley full, that's 10 cases.
If you go down the road and fill the trolley, that's 10 cases.
10 cases.
And one case would bring you how much money?
One case will bring $2.
Murphy's last shipment to Nassau was 20 pallets. Each pallet contained 84 cases. That's 1,680 cases of beer bottles for a whopping total of $3,360. Not chump change. Now, others want in on what they see as a cash cow. Do you have any copycats now?
Plenty. I get plenty copycats. Everybody want to pick up bottle. And when I come down with my trolley, they say, you just as well go back home because I didn't get them. I tell them what God have for me, my name on it, and nobody else can get it.
There you go. But you know, you also playing another role. You're keeping the island clean.
Yeah, well, they ain't looking at it like that.
How do you look at it?
I look at it clean, and I also starting to pick up cans too, to recycle can.
Yeah.
So I pick up, if I meet mash cans on the road, I'll pick them up. And if I go to a big game wherever and I feel like today is can day, if no bottles, I'll just fill the trolley with cans.
Murphy admits she was viewed negatively at first. Now, despite others trying to cut into the business, she's determined to get her share. How did people view you? What would they have said?
She in the garbage. That's what they say. She in the garbage. Now, here it is today. Everybody want to do the bottles, but they don't know how much work is in the bottle.
Yeah.
I only do it because I don't have nobody to provide for me, so I know that's an honest living, so that's what I do.
And you making money? Well, that's our show for today. We hope you've enjoyed Island Life. Join us next time as we continue to tell the stories of family islanders making the difference in their communities.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the nation's leader gets candid about the country's fiscal health. Plus, a grandmother and grandson charged in the magistrate's court for illegal possession of firearms. And the suspect in that human smuggling case charged with illegal embarkation. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping the news, the nation's leader prioritizing the country's fiscal health in Parliament this morning. During his contribution on a number of issues, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, revealing his administration's goals, which includes getting the country's finances under control. Here's that report. In an effort to nurse the country back to fiscal health, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, commended those who worked in tandem with the government on value-added tax and raised the bar on the quality of data produced in the country. During his address in the House of Assembly this morning, Davis reflected on the country's financial woes before his government took office in 2021.
Back in 2000, it was already clear that the Bahamian economy was in a weakened position, which back then I described in this House as being on a fiscal cliff. The shock rise in VAT to 12% had put a severe brake on growth and consumer spending. And the extraordinary rise in the government borrowings at very high levels of interest had put a severe brake on public investments.
The Prime Minister emphasizing that his government inherited a lot of financial problems from the previous administration with no justification.
As there was not a single new school built, road or hospital to show for all these borrowings. We are still unclear as to the reasons behind such unprecedented borrowings.
PM Davis also acknowledging that while Hurricane Dorian and COVID-19 pushed the economy over the financial cliff, there was still much damage done to the economy that pushed his administration to create and remove some policies to revive the country.
After we eliminated a number of the limiting COVID rules, including curfews, many economic sectors reopened, government revenues rebounded, and quarterly output returned to levels of near 95% of pre-pandemic and pre-Dorian levels.
The nation's leader also revealed his administration's outlook going forward.
The plan and outlook for the government's revenue remains positive. I will now set out a number of initiatives which the government is implementing to ensure that those who owe taxes should pay them. This includes the reversal of several policies implemented by the previous administration which favored a number of special interests. As previously announced, we have reconstituted and strengthened the Revenue Enhancement Unit, which had been disbanded. They are already increasing the number of audits taken to ensure proper compliance with the law.
Also from Parliament this morning, Minister of Transport and Housing, the Honourable JoBeth Colby Davis, giving an update on her ministry's A Place to Call Home initiative, which was designed to afford Bahamians a path to home ownership. During her contribution in the House of Assembly, the minister says her department is now in the vetting process for ABACO applicants.
With respect to ABACO, Madam Speaker, I wish to advise that applications for our rent-to-own program, we came in last time I spoke and said our rent-to-own was started in ABACO, and I can now advise that we are currently vetting applications for the rent-to-own so that we can begin giving keys to our rent-to-own persons in ABACO.
With a goal to ensure that Bahamians have the opportunities and resources to live in their dream home, Colby Davis reaffirms her commitment to working on behalf of the Bahamian people.
Currently, however, I wish to assure the Bahamian people that we are working diligently on your behalf and with you in mind. As I would have indicated before, Madam Speaker, this administration does not only consider numbers or figures in our deliberations, but also the lives and circumstances of Bahamians and small businesses throughout this country.
Well, a landmark ruling happening in the magistrate's court led to the imprisonment of an elderly woman and her grandson. The duo were found in possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition and learned their fate on Friday. Our Raven Davis is live in studio with the details. Raven?
Thanks, Simone. An elderly woman and her grandson facing serious charges in the magistrate's court on Friday. The duo, 80-year-old Frida Hart and 32-year-old James Hart, appearing before Magistrate Lang in court number 3, facing charges relating to the unlawful possession of an unlicensed firearm, contrary to Section 5B of the Firearm Act, and possession of ammunition, contrary to Section 9(2)(a) of the Firearm Act. Magistrate Lang reading the particulars in court. According According to reports on Tuesday, December 1, 2020, a team of officers armed with a search warrant proceeded to a residence in the Wellington Heights subdivision. The officers dispersed, searching the rear exterior of the home, and were granted entry inside the residence. While in the home, defendant Rita Hart reportedly asked officers to use the bathroom on 2 occasions, officers obliging both requests, and she was escorted by a female officer. But it was on the second occasion that something peculiar transpired. The elderly woman was reportedly seen with a pink towel in hand that she had previously retrieved from one of the bedrooms. While in the bathroom, she sat on the toilet clutching the towel but did not pull down her garments, this arousing officers' suspicion, and a struggle ensued. Officers say a .9mm silver firearm fell out from the towel in the ready-to-fire position. James Hart and his grandmother Frida were subsequently taken into custody. James admitted to ownership of the firearm, though he was not found in possession of it at the time of its discovery. Now, prosecutors opened the case on January 25, 2022, and the case closed on January 16 of this year. James, upon being granted the opportunity to speak in court, said he wished the court would have mercy on his grandmother, but Lang notified him that the case was well beyond that stage, having been opened for more than a year. He said the firearm charge was very serious and carries an automatic custodial sentence. The elderly grandmother begged the magistrate to set her free, saying she would die if she were sent to prison. Now, court was adjourned for several minutes before Magistrate Lang returned with the verdict. On count 1, possession of an unlicensed firearm, James was found guilty and sentenced to 30 months at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And on count 2, possession of ammunition, being found guilty, he was sentenced to 2 years, the sentences to run concurrently. And for her part, on count 1, the grandmother was found guilty and sentenced to 12 months at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And on count 2, another 12 months, the sentences to run concurrently. Upon hearing the verdict, the grandmother was unable to contain her emotions and began crying inconsolably. Appearing stoic and attempting to comfort her, grandson James wrapped his arms around her neck and held his head down quietly. Now, Lang reminded the court of the seriousness of the charges and said that lives were put at stake. He informed them that if they are displeased with the ruling, they reserve the right to appeal the decision. The matter came to a conclusion and the duo stood to their feet, but 80-year-old Frida Hart, too distraught about the sentencing, had to be lifted outside the courtroom by her grandson. Reporting live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis. Back to you, Simone.
Thanks, Raven. Well, still in news from the courts, the man accused of engaging in human smuggling had his day in court on Friday. The Bahamas Immigration Department charged a 34-year-old Bahamian in the Freeport Magistrates Court with breach of the Immigration Act by assisting illegal embarkation. Here are the details. Chad Marshall appeared before Magistrate Simone Brown to answer to the charge of assisting illegal embarkation. The particulars were alleged that on Monday, January 30th, 2023, Marshall was found on a distressed vessel in waters some 3 miles off West End, Grand Bahama, having assisted illegal passengers. On the charge of illegal embarkation, the particulars allege that Marshall was found on a vessel in a similar location, having embarked for a place outside of the Bahamas without the leave of an immigration officer. He pled not guilty to both charges. The Bahamian man was granted bail in the sum of $4,000, and in addition, he will be fitted with an ankle monitoring bracelet. This matter has been adjourned to April 15th of 2023. Further reports indicate that Marshall remains in police custody as he was not able to satisfy the conditions of his bail. Meanwhile, the group of illegal migrants also appeared before Magistrate Simone Brown, pled guilty to the charge of illegal embarkation, and each migrant was to pay a fine of $300. All of them has since been transferred by the Immigration Department to the detention center in New Providence as they await repatriation to their various countries. And when we come back, Grand Bahama to host its first art festival very soon. The details of that story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues.
Pizza Hut Freeport has a super delicious super deal. Now you can order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $19.10, VAT inclusive. Choose your pairs with any one topping and crust, pan or thin, and satisfy everyone. Excite your taste buds with Pizza Hut's 2 medium pizzas super deal. And save. Available for carry-out, curbside, pickup, and delivery at Pizza Hut Downtown, 352-9191.
Portobello's Restaurant is the place for lovers. Valentine's weekend with Friday and Saturday night dinner and Sunday brunch. Valentine's Day tickets are on sale at the lobby. Call 373-1333. Gold and silver jewelry up to 55% off. Watches up to 20% off. Designer sunglasses 10% off. Guess and 9 West handbags. Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath. Number 16 Oak Street. Phone 688-9661. Saturday, February 11th, No Holds Bar presents the legendary Stevie S live in a Rake and Scrape concert. Gates open at 9 p.m. Entry fee is $10. That's Rake and Scrape at No Holds Bar, Settlers Way. Keep it cool with Bethel's Air Conditioning and Refrigeration, located number 3 Milton Street. Phone 602-5467.
It is estimated that 300 million people worldwide are suffering from depression.
There's only so much we as counselors, as pastors, as parents, as friends can do.
Many of these people will consider suicide as a means of escape.
She just couldn't relate to me. And she knew, like she just knew things.
The tragedy is that many of them don't want to die.
Check on your strong friends was echoing everywhere. And though I agree with the sentiment wholeheartedly, it's definitely not enough.
They simply don't know how to cope with the issues of life.
I don't know, what could I have done? And I wasn't there, so I couldn't do nothing.
This is the other side of suicide.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, in partnership with Grand Bahama Artists, will be hosting the first Art Lucaya Grand Bahama Art Festival. The event will happen in March from the 23rd to the 26th. The 3-day festival will introduce residents to pieces crafted by local artists. The committee chairman says this is a great opportunity for artists on the island.
I just wanted to say to you all, this art festival is about you. It's for you, and without you and your feedback and support in shaping Art Lucaya, none of this would be possible. All artists were asked to produce 3 new works under the theme of resurgence. How did Dorian and 2 years of pandemic and lockdown affect you as an artist? The opening vernissage for each show will be a ticketed event, but the rest of the weekend, the artist's work can be viewed for free.
While GBPA's acting chairman says providing forums like this is vital for the community, the artists set to display their work over the 3-day span are extremely enthusiastic about sharing their passion with the wider community.
We must continue to foster the immense reservoir of artistic talent that Grand Bahama possesses.
This Art Lucaya Festival is going to be a great addition to the community of Grand Bahama.
It is so needed on Grand Bahama. And this is something that many of the artists have spoken before about.
I can't wait to see what they produce. And to be able to have their family come out, I think is going to be a plus.
So the art that we hope to showcase will be a lot of art made from things from the community itself.
Art, like we all know, look at us. We're such a fabulous group.
Art is healing, and we need that.
Well, some 70 persons have registered for the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's Youth Certification Program and now have the opportunity to be recognized as a nationally certified youth leader following its successful completion. Branding it as a staple program in the Grand Bahama community, Youth Programs Coordinator Carla Brown-Roker says it was designed with those who presently work or plan to work with the youth in mind, and she guarantees a comprehensive and interactive course.
At the Ministry of Youth, we saw over the years people simply volunteering to work with young people, coaching young people, offering summer camps for young people. And we said, why not tool them to ensure that they understand exactly how to deal with today's young person? There are national and regional and international standards for people who work with young people. And so all of these are going to be presented to you.
There has been steady advancement of the program over the years, according to facilitator Kenneth Miller, who says over the last decade, he has trained nearly 500 youth leaders. The program is 14 weeks long and new topics will be discussed each week.
Modules are going to carry you through a myriad of topics. Firstly, positive youth development, which is the module that I normally teach myself, and then we also have designing a youth-based organization to gear you to be postured for a different level of excellence. You're also going to have modules on leadership, effective communication, embrace yourself for a greater level of destiny. The Youth Leader Certification Program is designed to build lifelong relationships.
Classes will be held every Tuesday at the C.A. Smith Building from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. or on Saturdays at St. Nicholas Anglican Church in East End from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Well, described as a category of neurodevelopment disorder, or as others would call it, autism spectrum disorder. Autism is being detected in children now more than ever before. Tonight, local physician is speaking to the efforts that can possibly change the path of those affected. Jolanda Thompson-Everest reports.
Deficits in speech, restrictive repetitive behavior, and more are some alarming traits in autism spectrum disorder. As we focus on the rise in autism in children, Dr. Wilfred Ferguson advising that proper diagnosis is key, along with early intervention.
1 in 59 to 1 in 63 children have autism. It's like about 1.5 to 1.7% of children have autism, and that's the number that is quoted for most of the industrialized countries of the world. Whilst I do not have the numbers that we have here in the Bahamas, it's not so much that we have a lot more autism than we did in the past. It is that we are now better recognizing it. We are better diagnosing it. We are diagnosing it earlier instead of labeling these kids perhaps as they were just slow or they were just mentally retarded.
Ferguson, who has been a pediatrician for over 20 years, sharing that it is natural for parents to worry when noticing these traits. However, he says there is a bright side.
We send every child who is not saying or speaking, we send them first for a hearing assessment. We need to know that the child is hearing. If you don't hear, you don't speak. It doesn't mean because they're not speaking that they have autism spectrum disorder. It simply may be delayed speech. That's all it might be. So we get a hearing assessment, and then we send them for speech therapy.
Ferguson noting that in some cases, speech therapy plays a vital role and helps with a child's development. On the other hand, he explains that for persons with autism, more therapy is needed.
The parents then come back a year later, they say, oh, thank God, Dr. Ferguson, or whoever, my child is now speaking. I thought my child had autism spectrum disorder. It was not that. Now, for the ones that do have autism spectrum disorder, it's going to be a lot more than just speech. Yeah, it's going to be speech, It's going to be behavioral therapy. It's going to be occupational therapy. It's going to be a lot of interventions that are required. But even with these kids, you can make inroads.
Dr. Ferguson confirms that there is a slight rise in the numbers, but he says it is a manageable condition once parents decide to get help.
If you live in the community, start with the community clinic, the Hawkesbury Clinic, the 8 Mile Rock Clinic. You present there and let them know, I think something's wrong with this child. You tell them what's wrong with the child. I think this child has a developmental issue. And then they will refer them up here to us. We have a clinic where we see these kids at the Pierce Plaza on Coral Road. For the ones that we are seeing here at the Tuesday and Thursday clinic, and that's the majority of them on this island, we're seeing them right here, they're already in our hands.
The pediatrics head reveals that higher prevalence of neurodevelopment disorders can be found when there's early labor, prematurity, advanced maternal and paternal age, and genetics. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. Your Monday check on sports is next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. It was a jam-packed weekend in sports, track and field, also volleyball, basketball, but let's begin with college track and field. In track and field, the Masmia Dames competed this weekend for Fort Scott College at the Washington University Indoor Open Track and Field Classic. Running out of lane 4, the former Tabernacle Falcon finished first in the women's 200 meters in a time of 24.80 seconds. Switching gears now, the Grand Bahama Volleyball Association is under new leadership for the next 3 years. Public Relations Officer Latoy Williams.
Just got into volleyball, but I definitely grew to love it more than almost my previous sport, and I know that says a lot for me. We definitely want to see it grow. You know what I mean? We have a new board of young, vibrant people who definitely ready to move forward and move fast. Pretty much developing the youths of our city and stuff, because, you know, Freeport definitely is a place where we breed athletes, and I feel like a lot of them are swept under the rug, and pretty much we're going to try to use volleyball to get them pretty much off the rock.
Moving along to the island of Abaco, major heavyweight game in the Abaco Basketball Association this past weekend. Team Showtime defeated Net Rippers 98-92. Showtime is led by Chauncey Cooper with 29 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 steals. Point guard Timothy Ballard chipped in with 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 dimes. In the loss, Nakaja Adley scored a team-high 20 points, while Juven's Juicy Lucius added 18 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. And finally in sports, calls from the O.B. Wilchcombe Derek Nesbitt High School Basketball League. Sister Mary Patricia got the W against BMES 18-17, and Tabernacle rolled past Jack Hayward Jr. 28-10. I also want to send a happy birthday goes out to my niece, Madison Cooper. Hope you enjoyed. That's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Bar Blue now open at the Britannia Pub, next to Bell Channel Inn. Enjoy and unwind at Freeport's most stylish pub on the water with tasteful food and a fine atmosphere.
New year, new look. No, not you, but your room.
Decorative pillows in all colors, textures, and sizes. And if you want to make a statement, pick from over 20 different styles of our 5x8 area rugs. Get cozy in our lightweight comforters. And if you want to switch it up, we have duvet covers in a variety of colors. Decorative pillows from $23.99. Area rugs from $149. Comforters, $29.99. Duvets from $34.99. It's all here at Island Bedding.
It's that time again. Buy your tickets now for Mr. Lucky's Big Raffle and win. Win one of 2 cars, a brand new 2023 Toyota, large cash prizes, a brand new PS5, and more. Enter today by going into your local Chances store and either depositing $20 or more onto your account or buying $20 or more lotto ticket. Tickets available until March 1st. Winners announced March 4th. So hurry into your local Chances store today. You gotta be in it to win it. Winners take chances. Chances remind you to game responsibly.
It's the coconut got this. Cocoa skin driven madness. Juiciness ice the back. This sweet like the sugar in a drip.
Connaught Bahamas says, can you feel the love yet? And the home enhancement continues with 15% off all in-stock cabinetry, white shaker, Swiss chocolate, Ovaltine brown, and Hello Milo for the entire month of February. Now is the time to upgrade or modernize your kitchen or bathroom with quality cabinetry from Connaught Bahamas. 4 locations here in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Athletes across the northern Bahamas inspire us with their performances on and off the field. ZNS is proud to honor these competitors with our Athlete of the Month award. We will select an athlete whose story and accomplishments represents the best in their sporting discipline. Tune in to find out who will be the Athlete of the Month. Will an athlete be you?
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about it.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Lyndon Lundy, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We appreciate you so much and we thank you for your continued support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, displaced shantytown residents, a no-show. A pastor's plea to criminals, boosting government revenue, and in sports, cricket sails away as national sport. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The Bahamas Christian Council offering up what it sees as a viable solution to addressing the country's illegal migration problem. And it all has to do with agriculture. The council's president spoke with our Carla Palmer on the proposed fix.
The chaos that we see today is a product of people turning a blind eye and looking the other way.
That's how President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Apostle Delton Fernando, is describing the illegal migration situation in the Bahamas. While the nationalities of those illegal migrants coming to the Bahamas varies, the majority are Haitian nationals. And in the past few weeks, the numbers coming here have mushroomed significantly. Apostle Fernando feels the problem too serious now to ignore.
And I think it's time, as the nation is really seeing the effects of the weight on our healthcare system, the weight on our education system, and every tier of our society, that we put pressure on those that are able to make a difference and expect more out of our leaders and out of those that stand vanguard over our borders so that we can bring the situation under control.
Apostle Fernando says while we must show compassion towards those in search of a better way of life, the Bahamas has prescribed laws, and the government must be stringent in its measures and enforcement.
As a church, we have ran programs to the migrants from government to government. And we have seen the effect and cause of the situation. The church will be the church. We'll be there to provide clothing to those that would have lost homes. We'll be there to provide food, even to provide churches for them to minister and receive the gospel of Jesus Christ. But we're also cognizant of the rules that we ought to render to Caesar what is Caesar and have a border that is protected and one that is controlled. The time of sitting back and letting this thing mushroom into what it's mushrooming today is over. Even Turks and Caicos has taken a stand that we have to see that it's not feasible for us not to do this right.
With all of that said, he offered the Christian Council's solution to the problem in one word: farming.
I think agriculture is a solution for our problem because everybody profits. We spend so much money in imports that we could bring the labor in. We could give it a time, 5 years, 10 years. The labor must leave after those periods. They can have finances to go home. They're very good at it. This has been a history of Haiti being able to produce in the same soil that we have. We will have a mutual beneficial relationship with them. And when we look back at our agriculture product, we'll be in a better place and Haiti will be able to be sustained.
Apostle Fernandez says the council has met with the agriculture minister and put forth this proposed solution. At the end of the day, he says, we will get the Bahamas we planned for. And if we are not planning, we are planning to fail. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
The Ministry of Social Services has set up accommodations to house some 40 residents after a shanty town off Fire Trail Road went up in flames Sunday morning. But up to Monday morning, no one had turned up. Social Services and Urban Development Minister, the Honorable Obi Bolstrom, says the plans to keep the facilities open for another 24 hours. Now, police say some 22 homes were destroyed and 50 people displaced.
Team mobilized and we were there at the scene. Subsequent to that, we prepared facilities. No one showed for the facilities, but the facilities are ready and will be on standby to provide shelter.
Bolstrom admits the immigration status of some of the displaced could have factored into them not accepting the help. He also responded to if illegal migrants would have been apprehended if they showed up.
I think you would appreciate that the police and immigration will have to conduct investigations. And if persons are found to be here illegally, then they will take the necessary action. Our job is to provide the shelter. And once we provided the shelter for anyone in a difficulty at any particular time, then we would have done what we were supposed to do. The other agency will take over from to carry out what they have to do.
Legislators today tackling a resolution to adopt the latest fiscal strategy report and medium-term debt management strategy report tabled in the House of Assembly last Wednesday. In leading off today's debate, the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance also announced changes relating to the two documents. Fern Carey has the story.
The nation's chief, Prime Minister, the Honourable Philip Davis, announcing a change in the tabling of the fiscal strategy report and the medium-term debt management strategy during House of Assembly proceedings Monday. Both documents are a pivotal part of the government's fiscal agenda moving forward. The Minister of Finance used the opportunity to explain why the move is necessary.
As during last year's budget debate, members opposite expressed surprise that the numbers in the budget, which undergo a much more vigorous process, were different from those expressed in the fiscal strategy report. This is despite their understanding that these documents go through two distinct processes at different times. This misunderstanding, whether feigned or real, is a major reason why this year's debate will be the last debate of the fiscal strategy report and the medium-term debt management strategy as standalone documents debated in isolation. The political mischief making that accompanies these debates does cause real reputational and economic harm to our country.
Prime Minister Davis also revealed in Parliament that as a result of enhanced collection measures, revenue for this fiscal year is estimated at $2.8 billion. Initiatives are also in the pipeline to boost government revenue while getting those who owe to pay up.
This includes the reversal of several policies implemented by the previous administration which favored a number of special interests. As previously announced, we have reconstituted and strengthened the Revenue Enhancement Unit, which had been disbanded. They are already increasing the number of VAT audits undertaken to ensure proper compliance with the law. We are also reestablishing the Revenue Policy Committee a cross-governmental committee designed to eliminate leakage and identify areas for enhanced collections.
Another revenue measure is value-added tax collected on domestic vacation rental properties during the second half of 2022-2023 fiscal year.
Government's targeted tax area collection program for VAT, real property tax, and business license fees will be strengthened through the Revenue Enhancement Unit to increase collection of revenue arrears. Additionally, we are phasing in VAT e-invoicing to simplify and reduce arrears in the VAT billing and remittance process. The number of post-clearance audits by the customs departments will also be increased. We anticipate improved revenue from real property tax as a result of the recently completed reassessment of property values in New Providence and expansion of the real property tax roll to include properties with unidentified owners.
In 3 weeks, a mid-year review will also be tabled, providing an assessment of government's performance in executing its plans in the Fiscal Strategy Report and 2022-2023 Annual Budget Document. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
In other news this evening, having also been on the receiving end of death threats, former Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Dr. Hubert Minnis, says he's never seen security taken to the extent it has in the aftermath of death threats against Prime Minister, the Honourable Philip Davis. Minnis says he's certain all Prime Ministers would have been threatened before, adding that in the past he did not report it until the last minute. That is, after his aides would have advised him to take it more seriously and report the matter to the Commissioner of Police. Now, the former Prime Minister says he continued to proceed as usual.
Because I am of the view that when a Prime Minister feels that he can no longer feels safe among his own people, that's time to go. That's time to go. So I have always carried on with my normal life. But this Prime Minister is obviously threatened by the people. He brought out the entire police force almost. I mean, what is there to fear? What is there to fear? I do not condone violence, all right? I do not support violence. I feel that Prime Ministers should be protected, all right? But I thought it was an overkill.
Now, asked if the current political climate could have led to threats against the sitting Prime Minister, Minnis contends that violence and immigration are out of control, adding that the public has to feel the government is serious about addressing such problems. And the first step, he says, will be having the Shantytown injunction lifted.
It is unfair. I have gone through that myself, where I wanted to construct a wall at my place. I subsequently wanted to take it up to 6 foot. I had the blocks laid for 6 foot. I was approached by Ministry of Works and said that the law states that I can only go 4 feet. I subsequently removed the additional 2 feet and complied by the law. If I and other Bahamians can comply by the law, they have to comply by the law. We are a law-abiding, respective country. And that's the issue. They must have the injunction removed and deal with it appropriately. You would be surprised how that would really deflate all the anger that's going on today.
Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honourable Obi Welchcombs, commenting on the number of rapes in the country, which he says continues to be cause for concern. His comments on the heels of Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez recently revealing that there were 55 rapes last year, a 15% increase in the sex crime. Add to that 139 cases of unlawful sexual intercourse with minors under 16. Now, police just recently reported the rapes of a 23-year-old woman and a 9-year-old on Grand Bahama.
It has a lot to do with the mindset of our people, the behavior of our people, the economic and social circumstances all contribute. So we have to get to the bottom of it to rid ourselves of it, equally to rid ourselves of poverty. I think poverty is reflective in the behavior of a lot of people and a lot of circumstances, and we have to do our best to get rid of it.
As preparations get underway to host the 2023 CARICOM Heads of Government meeting here in the capital, we're taking a closer look tonight at the formation of this regional alliance and its purpose. Altaviz Munnings joins us in studio with the history of the Caribbean community. Good evening, Altaviz.
Good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. Just like the Bahamas, the Caribbean Community and Common Market, commonly known as CARICOM, is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Taking a trip down memory lane, the idea to even create a Caribbean community was made through a 15-year effort to fulfill the hope of regional integration with the British West Indies Federation in 1958. The government of Trinidad and Tobago later proposed the full establishment of a Caribbean community and assembled the first Heads of Government Conference in July 1963. It was at the 8th Heads of Government Conference of CARIFTA in April 1973 in Georgetown, Guyana, when the decision to establish the Caribbean community was finalized. CARICOM was officially launched on July 4th, 1973, with the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas by the Prime Ministers of Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. The treaty was later revised in 2002 to allow for the eventual establishment of a single market and a single economy. Stretching from here in the Bahamas in the north to Suriname and Guyana in South America, CARICOM currently comprises 15 member states and 5 associate members. It's home to approximately 16 million citizens, 60% of whom are under the age of 30 years old. The organization's main purposes are to promote economic integration and cooperation among its members, ensure that the benefits of integration are equitably shared, as well as coordinate foreign policy. Now, CARICOM rests on 4 main pillars: economic integration, foreign policy coordination, human and social development, and security. These elements are discussed by leaders of member states who shape the community's policies and priorities with meetings twice a year. And in 2023, Caribbean Heads of Government, led by current CARICOM Chairman, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, will convene right here in the Bahamas next week to address pertinent issues, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the Haitian crisis, security and border issues, as well as talks with Canadian Prime Minister, the Honorable Justin Trudeau. Reporting in studio for the Bahamas tonight, I'm Altaviz Munnings. Back to you, Makushla.
Well, thanks, Altaviz. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
From the youngest among us to the oldest gems, heart disease has touched many lives. And while cardiologists are doing their best to ensure these victims remain alive, nonprofit organizations are also doing their part, drumming up funding to secure the best treatment possible. Join me, LaDon Davis, this month every Friday for Chambers of the Heart.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse, the people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Our lives are full of action. Hey, babe.
From the studio to the video to back home.
All while balancing family life.
BTC Fiber Internet is our solution.
BTC is best for us. Hello?
With fiber, we save more on fast, reliable internet. And we can prove it.
Go to BTC's website and compare for yourself.
Select your current product, price, and location.
You'll see how much you can save with BTC.
Link up with better value.
Link up with BTC.
Because they were on sale, Keisha bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? Come and satisfy that hunger at KFC before doing something crazy. Snack Box for only $5 with a piece of juicy KFC fried chicken, creamy mashed potato, and the buttery biscuit. A finger-licking good deal.
Are you or a loved one under medical care?
Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
Added officers on the ground and increased patrols throughout the capital after another 2 men lose their lives to gun violence overnight, prompting an impassioned plea from a leading clergyman.
In the still of the night, police found a man, his bullet-riddled body face up, his blood soaking the sand. As crime scene investigators dusted and collected evidence in small orange cones strategically placed at the scene, the lifeless body was bagged and placed in a waiting hearse that slowly drove off. The who, what, and where we get from officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department, Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, who says gunshots rang out in the South Beach Blue Hill Road area around 9:15 p.m. Sunday.
Control room was alerted. Police officers came into this area where they met the body of a male. He was suffering from wounds that are consistent with gunshots. There was nobody else in this area. We have no identity on this male. He appears to be in his early 20s. And he was lifeless.
Now, as for the motive behind the shooting, that's not yet been revealed. Unknown to the police, his identity would come from a next of kin. This latest incident just 2 hours ahead of another in Western New Providence. The victim in this case, a 39-year-old Flamingo Gardens resident who detectives found outside a business in Gambier Heights. His body bearing the marks of multiple gunshots, the third such victim for this month alone, all shot to death. Outspoken clergyman Bishop Simeon Hall has for years decried murders, at every turn calling for each and every Bahamian to do his or her part to end the bloodshed.
Well, each of us must take some responsibility for the status to which our country has sunk. 128 murders last year, and on this present trajectory, we will surpass that. I pray that does not happen. Every mother, every father who knows of a gun in your house, turn in the gun, turn in your son. It is better to call the police than to call the undertaker.
Bishop Hall went on to call on National Security Minister the Honourable Wayne Munro to take a second look at the Bail Act, perhaps, he says, going as far as taking away the constitutional right of those found with illegal firearms.
We need to save a generation. We need to save the next generation. And one way is to report the crime. Some Christians engage in what I call sanctified silence, because you know your son is in crime and yet you are silent. Report your son, or you will face funeral expenses. Let's do it together and make a better country.
Minister Munro recently told reporters that people who violate their bail will have it revoked and be made more accountable.
On Friday, a Seabreeze man met his demise when he was gunned down on Joe Farrington Road by 3 individuals in a white Nissan Note. Less than a week later, 2 of the 3 believed to be responsible for that crime appeared in a magistrate's court. That's 20-year-old Deanza Gibson and 21-year-old DeAndre Morley, charged with the January 31st slaying of 24-year-old Angelo Major. Police say it was shortly after noon on that day in question when officers spotted 3 males firing at the victim in broad daylight. Their interception leading officers to exchange fire, hitting 2 men who were taken into custody on the scene. A weapon was also recovered. Subsequently, the men were also hit with 1 count of possession of an unlicensed firearm, a charge for which they both denied. As for the single murder charge, the Crown will proceed via voluntary bill of indictment, scheduled to be serviced on April 12th of this year. Meantime, police have arrested 2 Venezuelan women and a Colombian man after they were caught with a significant amount of Bahamian and American money. The trio also breached the country's immigration laws by overstaying their time. They were arrested after officers from Operation Ceasefire executed a search warrant on their Sandyport home Sunday afternoon. Now, the trio will be questioned in connection with human smuggling and money laundering allegations. In other news this evening, the Centerville community a bit safer tonight thanks to the generous donation of corporate Bahamas. Carla Palmer tells us more.
It may be small in size, but the work that the newly small Nissan March will do is significant, as members of the Centerville Community Neighborhood Watch Council conduct surveillance patrols in an effort to deter crime in that area. The new vehicle, a first for the Centerville constituency, turned over to Crime Watch Council members this Monday. Area Member of Parliament, the Honorable Jomo Campbell, made the presentation to Chairman of the Bahamas National Neighborhood Watch Council, Keno Wong.
We all know that the labor is indeed great, not just in Centerville, but in the Bahamas. But the truth is, the laborers and their resources are few. So whilst this may seem like just a car, I can guarantee you it's a very big step and a long road. The fight against crime, the fight for social and neighborhood development is not a singular effort. It's a team effort, and we have the true realization of that here today with this partnership. And with that being said, I'd just like to take this opportunity again to say thank you to Mr. Wong and his association and to all of our corporate sponsors that participated in making this event here a success.
On behalf of all of us in the Neighborhood Watch Council, we appreciate this wonderful gift.
The donation was made possible by 2 leading business establishments in the community, Bahamas Bus and Truck and Modernistic Gardens. General Manager of Bahamas Bus and Truck, Ben Albury, says he's privileged to have made this invaluable contribution.
We're very invested in this neighborhood. Our group of companies has been in this area now for about 60 years, and it's a wonderful community, but like other communities, you do have your challenges. And, the minister has been very helpful with us as far as, when we do have incidents or upticks in incidents in the neighborhood. He's somebody we can reach out to and speak with, and he's always happy to try to address that for us. So when the opportunity came up for us to give something back to the community and to also assist with the efforts, we were very happy to get involved.
Police Superintendent Davy Pratt, officer in charge of community policing and neighborhood, cautioned members of the Neighborhood Watch Council against transcending their assigned role.
Fighting crime is a team effort, and how can we do it? We must do it together. The persons who will be patrolling this vehicle, let me warn you all are not police officers. Please, your motto is to look, watch, and report. That is what it's all about. Don't get out there, put yourself in harm's way. If you see something look suspicious, get on the phone, call the police, call your liaison officer, and they will assist you as best as possible.
There are reportedly 160 neighborhood watch groups throughout the country, and officials are hoping that this gesture is duplicated. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Transport officials putting measures in place to address the jump in traffic fatalities and enhance road safety countrywide. Transport Minister, the Honourable JoBeth Colby-Davis, telling House members that traffic fatalities remain unacceptably high, with more than 55 people losing their lives on the streets last year, the majority of them men. She says a road safety program is being introduced called Slow Down, Stay Alive.
Ministry is in the advanced stages of coordinating a series of public engagement initiatives. I wish to share the official logo of the program with my parliamentary colleagues at this time, which is Slow Down, Stay Alive at the front, and Streets for Life at the back.
The minister says improvements to the inspection of vehicles at the Road Traffic Department are equally critical to overall road safety.
In short order, the department will transition from the manual inspection of vehicles to digital and practical inspection practices that will involve the use of new technologies to facilitate the robust testing of brake systems, vehicle suspensions, wheel alignment systems, and the quality of vehicle lights. The new technology, Madam Speaker, will also allow the Road Traffic Department to conduct global vehicle checks, providing the department with historical information on used vehicles. This technology will also assist in reducing the prevalence of vehicle thefts, as the technology will allow for stolen vehicles to be easily identified.
Some good news for Bank of the Bahamas customers in Western New Providence as a new branch opened this afternoon. LaDon Davis was at the soft opening.
During his address at the Bank of the Bahamas opening, Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis made it clear that it's paramount the government will invest and promote Bahamian-owned businesses as the country celebrates 50 years.
Prime Minister, I am committed to ensuring that all Bahamians have access to the financial services they need to build a better future for themselves and their families. An estimated 18% of our population is unbanked, meaning roughly 70,000 Bahamians do not have access to vital banking services. This is an alarming figure.
BOB Chairman Donna Harding-Lee talked about the bank's efforts to build a better Bahamas by serving the needs of its thousands of customers with quality, style, and better results.
This new branch is a symbol of our commitment to providing our customers with the very best in banking services, be it opening a new account, applying for a loan, or simply checking your balance. Our team of experienced professionals will be here to help you, providing expert advice and support every step of the way. This new branch is also a sign of our commitment to growth and innovation as a financial institution, trying to keep pace with the changing services and needs of our customers.
Managing Director Kenrick Brathwaite also echoed similar sentiments and applauded BOB's employees for continuing to be the leaders in banking for decades.
The journey which began some years ago involves rebuilding our image. This is a part of that, improving our products and services, developing all bank personnel, introducing sound policies and practices, upgrading our systems, and last but never least, enhancing our customer service.
After reminiscing on what banking services will be offered, the Venerable Keith Cartwright led a procession to bless and cut the ribbon for the new Bank of the Bahamas branch.
This new and improved Bank of the Bahamas customer service branch here on JFK is a 12th of its kind for the Bank of the Bahamas family. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDon Davis.
Caribbean countries virtually on a financial cliff when it comes to debt. At least that's the findings of a study done by the Caribbean Policy and Development Center in Barbados. Their findings prompting the non-profit to partner with United Kingdom-based organization Forge, who has in turn launched a 12-month pilot program that seeks to address the historical debt in the Caribbean using the findings of locally based non-governmental organizations. The organization selecting 3 Caribbean organizations to launch a pilot, of which the Bahamas is one. Non-pilot Civil Society Bahamas hosting the first consultation in the Bahamas today in a symposium at the BCPOU Hall.
And what they want us to do is really to look at the impact of debt from the grassroots level right up to the policy level, meaning from personal debt right up to government public debt. And they will, and from these this is the first consultation for the Bahamas. Antigua and Barbuda and Barbados have already done this, and they're working on their second. But they want to extrapolate from these consultations the voice of the people as well as recommendations to take to the international community.
President of Civil Society Bahamas tells us what they hope will be the end goal of the program.
The ultimate goal is that not only for the nation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, but the Caribbean region at large, that we would collaborate to make recommendations and formulate strategic aspects in terms of preparation for resolving the debt situation. Ultimately, we are looking to put structure and systems in place that would help our citizenry and residents better equipped to address the financial debt situations of personally and on a national front.
Well, now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, do you believe capital punishment is a deterrent to crime? Yes or no? To participate, simply log on to our website, and that's www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer the poll's final results will be aired on Friday. And as always, thanks for participating. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight. The National Report returns after this.
The Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation's executive team held a stakeholders reception in Nassau to express gratitude and share with industry leaders the way forward.
It's all about saying thank you. Thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for the partnership. Thank you for working with us through COVID, establishing all of the protocols, and in a post-pandemic environment. Thank you. Our trade missions, our trade shows, you have certainly been partners that we are proud of and proud to have at the ministry.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, shared great news for 2023.
For 2023, we are very positive as well. What we're seeing are good numbers up to the second quarter of 2023. The forward bookings are looking exceptionally strong, and we are poised to do 8 million visitors for 2023. We're poised to grow the stopover visitors by at least 20%. So things are looking up. We recognize that we cannot do this by ourselves. It's a team effort, and this is why we've called all of the stakeholders together to come out tonight to celebrate, but also commit to collaboration for the future.
For more information on what's happening in tourism, investments, and aviation, please visit tourismtoday.com. I'm Danielle Bodie, and this is Tourism Today.
With a number of investment projects set for Eleuthera, the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute's newest campus at the former Greencastle Primary School will be used to prepare Eleutherans for jobs. Professional development courses in electrical, plumbing, and carpentry begin in February. State Minister for Education and Technical and Vocational Training, Zane Lightburn, highlighted that local instructors identified are certified.
There's availability not only on the ground, but for online teaching and education and training. And at a certain level, we want students to be able to access even the other areas in terms of IT. And we want persons to get a start where they want to. If they felt that they were left school, did not get certification, they can get into a Smart Start program. We have NCCR certification courses where persons can be trained to teach other people.
These classes will begin at the Preston Aubrey High School. BTVI's interim president, Dr. Linda Davis, urged students to sign up for the Smart Start courses, which, once completed, can include BTVI's international accreditation.
A few months ago, we did some NCCER craft instructor training. And so we have a cadre of NCCER trained persons, and those coupled with the persons we have in our school system. We say at BTVI, learn a trade, earn a living. There are tremendous opportunities through the trades, and we invite one and all, even if you're retired, to come back.
Additional courses in the beauty, fashion, IT, and business trades will be added in the future. For Ed Talk, I'm Ron Aubrey.
Our free pick, pack, delivery service gives everyone in the Family Islands a chance to shop a variety of club products and prices right from home. Simply call or WhatsApp your order to 242-677-7266 or email order@amlfoods.com. A friendly customer service representative is waiting to pick, pack, and deliver your order to the mailboat of your choice. The options are truly endless, and with membership, you save even more. So order today and let Costrite pick, pack, and deliver right to you.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family, join the family, Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love, a friend that you can trust, Family Guardian.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The Ministry of the Environment cracking down on illegal mining in Andros. After receiving several complaints from residents, Environment Minister, the Honourable Vaughan Miller, led a delegation to the Big Yard on Friday to see for himself exactly what's taking place.
On arrival, we discovered that indeed illegal mining was occurring. Those persons were asked to cease and desist, to which they complied, and we advised them to file their applications through the regulatory process and become compliant so that they may legally proceed with the mining process. We also discovered that there was a very high level of unawareness among many persons with regards to the new regulations under the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection Act of 2019 and the Planning and Subdivisions Regulations from 2011. Whereby they need to receive a certificate of environmental clearance, a CEC, in order for them to become compliant and become involved in that area.
All other areas of illegal mining were also found in Andros. The decision was made for representatives from the Departments of Environmental Planning and Protection and Forestry to travel around the Family Island to educate residents on new environmental regulations.
We also look forward to placing officers from the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection and our forestry unit on our major family of islands, enabling persons on the various islands to file their complaints locally on those islands, and they can get the desired results on those islands as opposed to everything being Nassau-centered or Nassau-centric.
Well, thanks to the Royal Bank of Canada, the Bahamas National Trust now has $20,000 to restore and maintain parks here in New Providence, specifically the Retreat, Primeval Forest, Harold and Wilson Ponds National Parks. RBC Managing Director Lasanya Missick boasting that the bank's proud of its relationship with the Bahamas National Trust and is pleased to contribute to its ongoing efforts to preserve our country's natural beauty and resources. Accepting the donation, the National Trust Park Planner and New Providence Parks Manager, Chantal Curtis, who acknowledged the fund will continue to foster environmental stewardship and protect important species and habitats throughout the Bahamas. As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more to come after the break.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. The place where you can download a 2-hour movie in seconds and stay connected to loved ones even when traveling far from home. The fastest, most secure, and reliable way to stream the internet, so you can do what you want, whenever you want. Where internet moves at lightning speeds, smoother and more reliable than anything you've ever seen. This future-proof technology can take you to worlds that you can only imagine. That's the power of Alive Fiber. The future is here. The future is home. The future is Alive Fiber.
Shopping online isn't new to the market, but gaining access to affordable healthcare products at the click of a button is the greatest customer experience. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gives access to a complete customer journey, from shopping in our retail store on 9th Terrace, Centerville, to shopping online at your convenience from work or from the comfort of your home. Offering delivery and pickup options. Remember, if it's healthcare, it's here. Shop online today.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
One lucky Bahamian from the Island School, the recipient of a $10,000 grant courtesy of the United States Embassy. The grant's expected to go a long way in continuing the school's cartoon research programs on climate change. The school's Director of Research and Innovation, Dr. Nick Higgs.
More sustainably, I think Bahamian climate scientist and atmospheric scientist Marjan Finlayson was awarded this grant from the U.S. Embassy. And what that's doing is creating educational materials, videos, cartoon segments for younger kids to educate them about the realities of climate change. Some of those materials have already been created. Some of them are still in the works. And I think the first one was broadcast in December, but that'll also go out online and be available, and also just help raise awareness amongst our youth, because climate change, yes, is happening now, but we know the effects are going to be increasing in years to come. And so it's so important that our young people are the ones who are getting on board with that and educated. And so that's what we're very grateful for.
The first cartoon video aired live on the ZNES network a few months back, as well as the Island School's website.
We all need to live more sustainably. I think that's what this campus demonstrates, and hopefully you live by doing. That's why we have our young people here on campus today, learning hands-on all of this stuff, because what we need is for everybody, not just Bahamians, the whole world, to change our lifestyles and adapt. I think that's the key word. We are all going to have to adapt to the world that we will find ourselves in, and you adapt by learning habits by doing, right? And so that's why it's so important to have students here getting involved and being engaged in that work.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Patricia. We have just a few clouds this evening. Temperature at 77 degrees. Relative humidity 68%. East-northeast winds at 16 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,020.4 millibars. That's 30.15 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 71 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Toul, Key and Abaco, Marsh, Abaco at 73 degrees, the Berry Island 76, Alderstown, Bimini 75 degrees, 76 in Harbor Island, Rock, Sandy, Eleuthera, Alderstown, Cat Island, Black Point, Exuma, Camp Space, Old Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros, all at 77 degrees. 77 is also in Georgetown, Exuma, Rum Key, and San Salvador, 78 in Ragged Island, Cloud, Sound Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Migwana 79, Ackland 79, Matutani, Nagua 79, and also our friends to the southeast, Circumlocated Islands, that's 79 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the Northwestern Islands, northeast winds 12 to 18 knots tonight. Wave heights remaining at 3 to 6 feet with caution flags in place. High tide take place at 8:28 tonight. Now for the central and southeastern islands, the wind's a little stronger at 15 to 25 knots. Out of the northeast, wave heights a very rough 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. Hence, advisories are in place for the central and southeastern islands tonight. And then tomorrow, which is Tuesday through the middle of the week, the winds are going to stay out of the east at 12 to 18 knots. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet, maintaining that caution flags into Wednesday. High tide occurs at 8:46 tomorrow morning with a low tide at 3:10 in the afternoon. Now for the central and southeastern islands, once again, easterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, wave height 5 to 8 feet with advisories in place. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
Wednesdays just got a whole lot better. Introducing Whopper Wednesdays at Burger King Nassau. Get a flame-grilled Whopper for only $5.50, including VAT. Yes, you heard that right. This Wednesday, you can indulge in the classic flame-grilled Whopper you love, made your way for only $5.50. Stop by your favorite Burger King Nassau location this Wednesday and enjoy a Whopper for only $5.50. Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Big 14s get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Monday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. In yesterday's Sportscast, we gave you the wrap-up of the 2023 Farmers Key Regatta. It certainly would not be short of drama. The Long Island boys would continue to be dominant, with the Sassy Sioux emerging victorious in Farmers Key, sweeping the competition and winning every race. Looking ahead to the National Family Island Regatta come April, Stephen Knowles says he doesn't expect the rain to let up anytime soon.
I told the guys in the C class, you know, they don't step up to the plate. The other two dominant Long Island boats, the VDK and the Xena, are not here. You know, when they're in the race, it's a different race. We three battle for the top. So they got to step up to the game to get above fourth if they want to be in the top three. In the B class, you know, the Susan Chase, she's right there, she's ready to go. In the A class, the Running Tide is ready to go. The Legend is ready to go. I understand they're doing quite a bit of work on the Tide Wave to get her ready, because she didn't participate in the BOB. That's our biggest competitor in the A class. So unless they do what they say they're going to do and get their boats prepared for Exuma and ready to race, they're going to be in for another, not rude awakening, but a surprise in reality that they don't realize.
Speaking of the National Family Island Regatta set to take place in Exuma in just a few months, this is where officials are expected to make sailing the national sport of the country. And according to the minister responsible for regattas, preparations are well underway.
The down-home atmosphere, the people, and what's even more exciting about this year is that during the Georgetown National Family Island Regatta, we'll announce sailing as a national sport. So that's exciting for us as a minister and a parliamentary secretary in the ministry to be able to be a part of history when we announce that. So as we move towards that, we'll continue to make it bigger and better. And as we transition and make it the national sport, each regatta we expect to invest more by a support standpoint, by boots on the ground standpoint, and also by giving them whatever technical support they need to, if some person want to start a regatta in other islands, so that we can able to connect all islands with the national sport.
Switching gears to baseball news, our country's brightest baseball star was home recently to celebrate his 25th birthday and take in all the praise after being named the cover athlete for the latest installment of the MLB The Show video game.
I mean, the feeling is like crazy because this is something you really dream of. Like, I know like a lot of parents from that's been out to Freedom Farm or seeing me play when I was younger and hearing me yelling around the field about how I'm gonna be a big leaguer, how I'm gonna be a Hall of Famer, how I'm gonna be on the cover of a video game. Like, these are stuff I've been saying from when I was a kid. So like, to live it now and seeing it happen, and right before my 25th birthday, it was like probably the sickest thing I could get for a birthday gift.
Jazz on serving as an inspiration to the younger generation.
And I feel like it could make them live out their dream, you know what I mean? Like, it made me live my dream, you know? It made me become who I am because, like, I was seeing guys like Antoine and Albert doing it before me, so, like, it was just like, oh, I could do this too, but I want to do it at a different level. Like, I want to do it at the best level I can do it at. I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to do this. And then the more I got into it, the more it was just like, okay, it's possible, it's more possible. So now that the younger kids now, they look at it and now it's more like, oh yeah, for sure it's possible. I could probably be better than him one day. You know what I mean? Like,
are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mailboat, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
It's February, the month of love, and you're gonna love this week's specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Libby spaghetti and meatballs, 15 ounce, $1.39. Mazola cooking oil, 40 ounce, $5.39. Kraft macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, $1. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, 89 cents per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Is a bad boy or baby?
Or you're a bad baby. You are the responsible that's why you trying to change? Who are you talking to, me?
I can deal with this, but that, go to sleep. Trying involves oxygen, you did nothing.
Call like a baby crying. Let's go.
What's your name? That is a number. What is your name?
Work off some of this energy, y'all up. We doing this dumb thing, so let's be doing.
Left. Let's go, genius. Get it right. Left.
So what that means, so I'll have the opportunity to do what? So what y'all can do?
And that does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
What does disability look like? In a busy airport terminal, at the check-in counter, at security checkpoints, or even in baggage claim? Passengers with hidden disabilities often go unnoticed. Globally, 1 in 7 persons have some form of a disability. 80% of those disabilities are non-visible.